Lake Charles, 104.1, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk, 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Dawson Iserloh prides himself on taking a deep dive to uncover all the relevant data about the sports and sports teams he loves. And now he's sharing all those facts inside his big brain with all of you. Here is the LohDown with D-Loh on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
It is the LohDown, ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette, 104.1 in Lake Charles. We are anywhere you are with both the ESPN Southwest Louisiana mobile app and now streaming it live on the YouTube channel every single day. Good afternoon. We got a very busy show today. It was already going to be, a pretty busy show, and then we had a bunch of news pieces drop. We had the Giannis trade go down late last night, and then this morning into the early afternoon, we've already had some other surprising stories go down. Maybe the most surprising of all is this Brendan Sorsby situation that we just keep thinking we have resolutions to. We've gotten like a new finality about it 4 times in the last 2 weeks. So now he's not going to be in the supplemental draft because there's not going to be a supplemental draft because the NFL said kick rocks. New developments. So we got a lot to talk about, as you might guess. It's also the NBA draft night. That, of course, coincides with why Giannis was traded late last night, in case you missed it. Giannis Antetokounmpo is now a member of the Miami Heat. The Bucks have pulled off a trade there. Mixed reactions, I think, on the return haul they got in response for him. But, at a certain point, you don't necessarily hold all the leverage you once did. So Giannis is getting his wish. He's going to be in South Beach in Miami. He will be playing in the place where GTA 6 will be set this fall. That's unrelated to the trade, but I've also been seeing a lot of GTA 6 rumors, so I had to mix that into the open somehow. Oklahoma's the national champions. Congratulations to the Sooners. I've got a couple of statistical nuggets for you on just how insane Oklahoma's run to the title was. They defeated North Carolina last night. We'll start the show with that. Cristiano Ronaldo has already stunned the Uzbekistan team with a couple of goals early, and Portugal. That's the team Cristiano Ronaldo plays for. Portugal is cruising right now. They're already up 3-0 at the halftime of that game. We'll do today's red card rundown a little bit later on. We've got Fletcher Mackel on to talk NBA draft with the Pelicans situation, who don't necessarily have a pick tonight, but maybe they'll get involved in the fun. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones could be on the move. I certainly hope Trey Murphy is not. We'll get Fletcher's thoughts on that and a little New Orleans Saints talk with Fletcher as well. We'll do that at the bottom of hour number 1. Ali Cassell joins us at the bottom of hour number 2. Similar stuff with the Pels, right? But I actually want to talk some of the big picture NBA draft stuff as a whole with Ali. I want to talk about who he thinks would take, or who he would take number 1, who he thinks will actually get taken number 1, and some of the other things about this draft class that he thinks are interesting. There's some players that I find fascinating. Kingston Flemings is one of them from Houston. Some of the Michigan guys from the championship team I think are really interesting. And so we'll see. We'll see what Ali says. We'll have him at the bottom of hour number 2. And then we're also going to be talking in the second hour about a really good cause. There's a benefit coming up this Sunday for a little girl who is suffering through leukemia right now. Our friend Melissa Menard's going to join us to tell you a lot more about that. We'll do that right before we talk with our friend Ali Cassell. So all that and more coming up here in the next 2 hours as we break it down on a Tuesday here. Plenty of news to get to. Oh, and the PGA Tour. I didn't even mention that. The PGA Tour dropped an entire new format. Promotion, relegation, they got all kinds of stuff. I don't know if we're going to do a ton of that today just because of everything else that came up. Might have to save that for later in the week, but I do have plan to have a guest on to help us dive through some of the new PGA Tour stuff as well. My goodness, we got a lot to talk about. It's supposed to be the slow time of the year. Not yet. Not yet. Maybe next week. Maybe next week things will slow down as we get towards the 4th of July holiday and things of that nature. But with all that being said, as I mentioned, let's start with a new national champion in the world of college baseball.
D-Loh is the kind of guy that stays locked in. On what? Well, that depends on the night. But you can guarantee there was some sporting event that he found interesting. It's time to find out what D-Loh was locked in on the LohDown.
So not hard for you to guess. I was locked in on the national championship last night. Last night was good utilization, by the way. For those of you who don't know, I've taken it upon myself. I've created the 3-screen setup. Originally wanted it in the living room. Have a wife now. That dream died. So we put it in the back office. So I had national championship game, Astros, and then the World Cup match of the night that actually ended up being a really, really fascinating one between Norway and Senegal. Had all 3 of those. We were rocking and rolling on a Monday evening. The Stros lost. Hunter Brown only went 3 innings, so that wasn't ideal. And unfortunately, the national championship game was kind of a dud, but it's still a championship, so it had enough intrigue to keep my interest. Oklahoma, North Carolina, winner-take-all game 3, right? We've told you about this Sooners team and some of the unlikeliness of the path that they've taken to get there. But at this point, I picked them to win this championship. I just thought they were a team of destiny. You know what? That was on full display last night. Hey, we got one right. That's good. I said we hadn't had a lot of good picks go our way. U.S. Open pick was Ludwig Oberg. That was going great until the weekend when Saturday Ludwig showed up. He did end up actually finishing top 20, I think, because he had a nice Sunday, but another pick gone wrong there. So we get this one right. That's good. We'll put that in the back pocket for later. Oklahoma jumps out as they have done all tournament long, it feels like, ever since that elimination game. And I'm going to point you to the exact day in which everything changed. And not even the exact day. I've got the exact inning where everything changed for the Oklahoma Sooners. But first, let's start with what they did last night to complete this whole thing. You remember a couple weeks ago, we told you about the Branch brothers. Last week, I guess, not a couple weeks ago. When Georgia was eliminated by Oklahoma, we told you about the Branch brothers. Kyle Branch, the starter for Oklahoma at second base, watched his brother in what was his final collegiate at-bat, Homer, as Oklahoma was getting ready to eliminate the Bulldogs. His whole family was there. Branch high-fived him as he rounded the bases. It was an awesome, really cool moment. Well, Kyle Branch, the younger brother, the sophomore, has been a starter on this Oklahoma team, but he hasn't really been much of an offensive threat. He was hitting in the low 200s. You know, he's more of a defensive guy, been really solid for them in the infield. He had his moment, and he waited till the very last game of the season last night. With his brother in attendance, Kyle Branch got the scoring going early on in this game, top half of the second inning, with an RBI single that scores Deshaun Harris and Dayton Taki. So it is 2-0 OU early. They would add another run in the third inning to make it 3-0, but UNC got back in the mix. Gavin Gallagher, RBI single. It's 3-1. Tar Heels were threatening for more and eventually could not get anything else. Then Oklahoma gets 3 more in the fourth. Then they get another in the fifth. It's 7-1, and this game is teetering on getting out of hand, right? You're thinking to yourself, well, if that North Carolina offense just gets it going, maybe they could chip away at this lead. And then Kyle Branch strikes again in the top of the sixth with a 2-run single, makes it 9-1. And in my opinion, that's when I kind of said, all right, I think we're going to flip the Astros up to the top TV. We're still going to have this game on, but we're going to pay a little bit less close attention to it, right? I'm glad I left it on, though, because as UNC, by the way, actually, they had a run in the 7th, and I thought to myself, man, if they get it to like 9-4, maybe they just have something to play with. They have their best hitter up, Gavin Gallagher, with still 2 runners on base, but he fouls out to the catcher. It stays 9-2, and then Kyle Branch homers in the top of the 8th, hits a 3-run shot to give Oklahoma the 13-2 lead that they would ultimately hold on to. Kyle Branch, a guy who was hitting .215 on the season going into last night, went 3 for 4 with a homer and 6 RBIs in the national championship game. Unbelievable storyline. Also, by the way, the brother connections in this series, they just kept going. In addition to the Branch brothers, one on Georgia, one on Oklahoma, you also know probably that Oklahoma's got a couple of pitching brothers. Mercurius and LJ, the younger bro, last night. Just came out of the bullpen and went a casual 5 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, struck out 5, and threw 79 pitches on his way to helping Oklahoma clinch the national championship. This Oklahoma team, and let's go through it now. So they are the champs, right? They have won it all. I want to go back and give you a couple stats. I compiled some stuff. I was like, I got to try and find something to summarize how wild it is that this team came back to win the national championship. I've got a couple numbers, and one of them has to do with what this Oklahoma team has done, and then I've got a bonus stat for Troy, who ended up in Omaha as well. From March 14th to May 19th, okay? That's also known as the bulk and the gritty part of the college baseball season, right? By the time March rolls around, you figure, hey, the early season, the shuffling around, getting arms ready, the kind of working out the kinks, that should be done, right? We should be playing better baseball come mid-March. May 19th is the day that Oklahoma lost in Hoover to the LSU Tigers, coincidentally enough. In this stretch, the bulk of the season, Oklahoma went 16-19. That included a loss to Southeastern Louisiana 3-0. They got blanked that day by the Lions. We hear a lot of times in college baseball and in baseball in general, right? Getting hot at the right time. If you're filling out your brackets this season when regionals came around, you might have taken a look and said, hey, who's hot in their last 10 games? Who's 8-2? Who's 9-1 in their last 10? Who's doing the things they need to do right now going into the postseason? Because we figure it's hard to just turn it on, right? Not only did Oklahoma not turn it on going into the postseason, they lost series down the stretch. They finished with a losing record in SEC play. They went 1-done in Hoover. They got on the elimination side of the bracket in Atlanta against Georgia Tech, the number 2 overall seed. Most people thought was playing the best of anybody in the country entering the postseason. And according to Georgia Tech fans and people around the program, it was the best constructed team in the history of Georgia Tech baseball. Oklahoma is in the loser's bracket. They get back to the championship game. They got to beat them twice, remember. They're obviously in Atlanta at Georgia Tech's place. And going into the bottom of the 4th inning, they are trailing 8-2 to Georgia Tech. So if you're using the phrasing getting hot at the right time, you really can't use it. Or you can use it if you specifically mean the right time to get hot is when you're down by 6 runs in an elimination game on the road against the best team in the bracket potentially and the best team that program's ever put together to make a run at the College World Series. If that's when you mean getting hot at the right time, then I guess they did that because they scored 8 runs in the bottom of that 4th inning, left that frame with a 10-8 lead, beat Georgia Tech in that game, beat them again in the elimination game, then beat Kansas twice in a super, then beat Georgia twice in the World Series, then beat North Carolina twice in the finals and won the College World Series. So I guess they did get right at the hot. Get right at the hot time? No, get hot at the right time. They just waited till the very last minute possible. Bonus stat for you. There was Oklahoma's ride, as I mentioned, 16-19 from March 14th to May 19th, and then just went nuclear in the postseason for whatever reason. The Troy Trojans, how about this? On March 28th, Troy dropped a series to Georgia Southern. They lost the second game of the series, meaning they had lost the series outright, Sunbelt opponent. That put their overall record at 11-16, the Troy Trojans. Georgia Southern, who beat them and won that series that day, finished the year 16-40, 7-23 in Sunbelt play, and Troy lost the series to them. They would finish their season in Omaha in the College World Series and win a game in Omaha, by the way, eliminating Ole Miss. College baseball's fun, guys. It really is. The SEC does extend their streak of national champions, although I think you get a little minor asterisk next to this one because Oklahoma's kind of a Big 12 team that's moved over in the last couple of years. But, hey, technically SEC, so I get it. They still have it. It's also related to our poll question of the day, which we'll give you some numbers on later on in the show. Shout out to them. The Oklahoma Sooners are the national champions. We'll hear more about this game. I've got some audio clips for you. We'll play that on the other side of the break. You're listening to the LohDown, ESPN Southwest Louisiana Sports Station. Stay with us.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
With storm season have arrived, I gotta start reading more effectively, James. With storm season having arrived, ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station, and Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley are bringing you hurricane safety tips. Make sure to secure your home and bring in outdoor items before the storm makes landfall. Have an emergency kit stocked with water, food, and medications. Know your evacuation routes and listen to local authorities. Make sure you got a battery-powered radio on hand. Of course, power goes out. Battery-powered things are your friend. And make sure you have fresh batteries. Those would help as well. Stay informed, and remember, safety is in your hands. These hurricane preparedness tips are powered by Mid-South Power Solutions in Crowley, your local Generac dealer. Visit midsouthpowersolutions.com.
Hello, everyone. This is Jeff Palermo. Join us on Tuesday nights for Tiger Rag Radio. Myself, Todd Horn, and Glenn Gilbo give you the latest happenings in Tiger Town and across the SEC. We talk to coaches, analysts, and those in the know when it comes to the Tigers and the Southeastern Conference. We cover all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, softball, and gymnastics. That's Tuesday nights right here on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and 104.1 in Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The heart of Acadiana is its local businesses, the people, families, and companies that help our communities thrive. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Candyland Cottage is the place to satisfy all your cravings. Find delicious ice creams, fresh fudges, truffles, hot dogs, sausage po' boys, Frito pies, and homemade shakes. Visit us in Scott and Rain for a sweet treat. Plan your next birthday party or field trip at Candyland Cottage.
Shop local, support local. Certified South Louisiana.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Bryson Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Bryson Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With MASH.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
You know the routine. Eat, sleep, sports talk, repeat.
Well, up and at 'em. We're here.
Here is more daily sports talk from ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles.
Yes, sir. That's it. And Boomer Sooner baseball in a blowout wins the national championship 13-2 over Carolina.
That was the sound of Carl Ravitch on the call on ESPN last night. Of course, friends of the program here, being an ESPN affiliate, so able to bring you that audio there. Appreciate them for that. Man, it's another incredible season in college baseball. I do think it is a reminder of how kind of funny this sport can be. I enjoy that aspect of it. It still does. There's so many different ways you can look at this, too, like Oklahoma winning it. It's not exactly Cinderella because they're an SEC team and they have the resources and they have the stuff to compete. I think it's a reminder, the Ole Miss team that did it in 21, even to an extent the Mississippi State team that did it after that, we've seen this. When teams like that get into the tournament, right, it's the same reason, I am very specific about what I call Cinderella runs in NCAA basketball, right? When NC State went on that run with Burns, where they made the Final Four as a 10 seed, I was like, yeah, it's like halfway, but it's not a true Cinderella story because it's a team that has a ton of resources and talent, and they used all that talent and depth, and they finally got it to click at the right time. That's what I say about Oklahoma. It's like a halfway thing. The aspects, they fit the bill in the Cinderella picture in part of it because they were a team that wasn't championship caliber all year long, and then all of a sudden they were. But they recruit like a power program. They acquire talent like a power program. They have depth like a power program, and they have the money to spend like power programs do. So no, I'm not as impressed with Oklahoma doing it as I was with, let's say, Murray State making it to Omaha or Oral Roberts the year prior, or even Coastal Carolina's run to the championship last year, because I still think the numbers, while Coastal spends a lot more than your average mid-major, they don't spend what even a bottom-tier SEC team spends. So anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on it, but it is a nice reminder of how fun postseason college baseball can be. And, look, for North Carolina, it's heartbreak. I don't feel too bad for them because the only team that's been to Omaha more times than them, that's never won it all, happens to reside in Tallahassee. Florida State's got almost double the appearances as well. 24 times in Omaha, never won the championship. This is Carolina's, fourth time in the championship series without getting it done. And this was probably, I don't know if you want to say their best shot, but it felt like they were the better team on paper, right? But as I said, when you get to this championship scenario, Fresno State made it to the championship series against Georgia. You think they were more talented than that Georgia team on paper? No, they weren't. And yet they won the series because at this point in the year, if you've done it to this point, clearly you've built yourself up some confidence and you've got some stuff to help you get it done. For that Carolina team, look, I do like Scott Forbes. He seemed like a really likable coach, ever since that LSU regional when, the Tigers almost beat UNC, because I remember watching and covering that regional a good bit. I really do like him. And obviously he's crushed, but here's what Scott Forbes had to say after losing the national championship game last night, and I thought was still pretty classy in his response.
Obviously, that's a tough loss, but first of all, I want to congratulate Oklahoma. Heck of a ball team. They deserved it. They played well tonight. They earned it. Congratulations to Skip. I've known him a long time. I have a lot of respect for him. It's his second time being in this game or a national championship, and they got it done. So a big congrats to them, their entire university. It's hard to do, and they got it done. On the reverse side of that, I couldn't be prouder of a group. I just talked to them in the locker room. We talk all the time about service, about serving one another. This group loved each other all season. They took us on a ride that was unbelievable. We came up a little bit short, but I would take that ride again every day of the year.
I did look, first of all, I think in some ways, look, it's not a huge deal for a coach to get up there and congratulate the other team and give them their applause first before he gets any thoughts about him. But I do think it's the classy thing to do, and I think Scott Forbes has kind of exuderated that a lot. By the way, the umpiring last night, I do, when it's 13-2, there's no sitting here going, if that call would have went this way, things would have changed. I did think North Carolina was on the wrong end of a couple of it. The freshman who came in, Glauber, which, by the way, all these spitball allegations, I do think there's a little something to it there. I don't think he was, I don't think he's innocent fully in the spitball allegation whole situation. But the way he came into the game, and then they didn't give him the extra warm-up pitch, and then they gave him the pitch clock violation, and then they didn't give him a call off the outside corner right when he went in the game, I was like, man, that was a tough three different calls in a row that were all kind of iffy on things, right? We understand, the umpires are on a clock and the time clock matters, but they're given a leeway to reset it if they think play was stopped for some different reason, whatever. So I did think that was tough, but in a game that's 13-2, fortunately, we don't have to look back and go, hey, if only one call was different, maybe this game would have had a different result. Oklahoma was clear-cut, going to be your national champions last night. You also heard Coach allude to Skip Johnson, the coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, who out of nowhere gets this team rolling in the right direction, and he's on the winning side last night. He gave his thoughts about being a College World Series champion.
We played a really good baseball team. Hats off to North Carolina. They're really good, well coached. I mean, the lineup was incredible. The pitchers they ran out there incredible. And we took the momentum over early, made some great plays defensively and got some big hits. These guys were separating balls from strikes, staying in their routines, the thing we talk about pitch to pitch, and getting some big hits, Kyle and Jackson was incredible, and LJ coming out of the bullpen was picking up Nick. I thought Nick was a little bit tired when he started the game, but he was just trying to hit targets, and that's what we talk about, and I was really proud of him in that moment, and really thankful for the SAC committee, the NCAA. Of course, when you're at the College World Series, everything's a class act. I thought the umpires were incredible all week, it was incredible.
I did think it was funny that he mentioned that he thought the umpires were incredible all week, which, again, I mean, he is talking about the whole tournament, and I thought they were. I just thought North Carolina got the tough end of it for that half inning in particular, which did feel like it flipped the momentum of the game a bit. Regardless, though, congratulations to Oklahoma. They are the champs, and the offseason begins. One thing you will not see from me today, you will not see my way too early Omaha 8 for next season. I will not be doing it. Really is a pet peeve of mine. I don't mind. I get the people who are in the college baseball content creation industry. I get it. They got to throw some stuff up. They might get some clicks on it, some interest, drive some people to the website. I understand that. I got to do all that same stuff as well. But I will take a stand on putting out predictions. You will never see me predict my NFL playoff teams the day after the Super Bowl. You'll never see me predict my Omaha 8 the day after the College World Series finals. And you will never see me predict my college football playoff the day after the national championship game. Those things, I have to have some values I stick to at some point in here, right? If not, this would just be lawlessness. All right, with that being said, we'll take a time out here when we return. Fletcher Mackel, WDSU over in New Orleans. It's been a while since we had Fletcher on. He'll join the show. We'll talk some Pelicans rumors. What's he hearing about what the Pels might get into in the next couple of days with the NBA draft happening, and his early thoughts on Saints camp and what the New Orleans football team might look like this season. That's after the break.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Ozempic, Wegovy, GLP-1s. Every day, one thought haunts you. What if I stop? A 2026 British Medical Journal study says you're going to gain every pound back. So, what now? Well, there's an answer. Alex Goen patented hypnosis. The Journal of the American Medical Association says adding behavior therapy to GLP-1s produces 3 times the results than GLP-1s alone. And hypnosis is behavior therapy concentrated. Alex Goen Hypnosis is the only U.S. patented hypnosis proven useful by the U.S. Patent Office. Engineered to destroy cravings, make you full on half the food, and kill late-night fridge attacks. Only $59.99 or your money back. Weight loss seminar Saturday, July 18th at the Hilton Garden Inn Cajun Dome, 11 a.m. Sign up at alexgoen.com. That's ALEXGOEN.com.
Lafayette Stars and Stripes is back and bigger than ever as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Join us Saturday, July 4th at Park International in downtown Lafayette for a night of patriotic fun. Gates open at 5 p.m. with live music by Sold Out and Rusty Mattwire and the Zydeco Crush, along with delicious food trucks, family activities, local vendors, and plenty of surprises. Then look to the sky for a spectacular fireworks finale at 9:30 p.m. Free admission presented by Lafayette Utility System, LFT Fiber, and Delta Media.
And now time for the Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
Ever wonder why bugs seem to love your home as much as you do? One big reason? Moisture. Roaches, termites, and ants are drawn to damp areas. Check under sinks, around windows, and in attics for leaks or excess moisture. A little home maintenance goes a long way in keeping those pests out. Got unwanted guests? Call Sugarland Exterminating, 337-367-1414, or visit sugarlandexterminating.com for more information.
Sugarland Exterminating, the pest-free environment we're creating. Spiders, roaches, rats, and mice. Those awful termites are not so nice. Get rid of all your pests right now. Call Sugarland Exterminating.
Termites, they're here. They're invasive. They can destroy your home if left untreated. Sugarland Exterminating has been in business for over 50 years, and they have the experience to effectively treat termites. Call 367-1414 or visit sugarlandexterminating.com.
And that has been your Expert Minute, brought to you by Sugarland Exterminating.
You're listening to the 2026 LAB Award winner for Radio Young Professional of the Year, Dawson Iserloh, the host of the LohDown with D-Loh on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The LohDown rolls on here on a Tuesday. It is NBA draft night. The NFL offseason, of course, still rolling along. And our friend Fletcher Mackel of WDSU back with us for the first time in a while. Fletcher, how's your summer going, man?
It's going pretty well. Thanks for asking. I appreciate it.
All right, so I've been following along with your videos you've been dropping, kind of keeping people in the loop on what you're hearing about the Pelicans and, you know, the potential of moving around. Obviously, they don't own their first-round pick, so if they're going to make any selections tonight, it would involve them making a trade. I'll start the one that you kind of put away here. The Pelicans, it doesn't seem like are interested at all in the Ja Morant business. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Pelicans are not getting Ja Morant. I actually thought some national people were going to get it yesterday, and they did it today. I think maybe the Dallas hiring of a coach, you know, and then certainly Giannis last night trumped everything. Right. But, yes, I was told pretty emphatically from somebody pretty high up the totem pole that Ja is not coming to New Orleans. There had been some reports that, look, Memphis has the third pick. Memphis is in a rebuild. They've got a young team. They're going in a much different direction. They've been trying to move Ja for what seems like years now, but at least a year. Ja Morant was a great player. Ja Morant may be a great player again. But here's the thing. Ja Morant has played 79 games in the last 3 years. That's 79 of 240-plus games. So he hasn't played because of injury, and he's also dealt with some serious off-the-court issues. Look, if you're Minnesota and you went to the Western Conference Finals in 2024 and 2025 and the second round this year, you probably gamble and say, we got to do something to get us to the finals. Ja's worth the risk. If you're the Pelicans and you're coming off back-to-back 50-loss seasons and you're kind of still figuring out how to do it and who you're going to do it with, Ja is probably not your guy. And while they may have had talks, yesterday I was told unequivocally, we will not be trading for Ja Morant.
One of the things that I've been a little confused by over the last week or two is all the Trey Murphy stuff. It felt for a long time like he was part of that kind of untouchable core that this, franchise valued. Obviously, part of the reason that might not be the case anymore is you've got a lot of new people in the building, but it all of a sudden sounded like they really might be looking to deal Trey. And I know Herb is also involved in some of these talks. What are you hearing about the chances that the Pelicans move on from Trey Murphy here?
Yeah, I think it's probably more likely to happen than not for both of those guys. And here's the reason why I say that. Look, I love Trey Murphy. He's everything you want. They drafted him in the first round in 2021. They developed him over the last 5 years. He's become a three-level scorer. He's a great guy. He's great in the locker room. He's an absolute fantastic teammate. But the problem is this. The Pelicans got him for 70 games last year. They had Zion for 60-plus games last year. And they did not translate those two together, playing some pretty good basketball into winning at any point. So I think the Pelicans feel like their future is Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen, the two guys that this leadership team, that being Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, who came on board last year, they feel like these guys are our future, and we're looking for different guys now. And I think they're trying to thread the needle. They want young veterans and assets in the form of draft picks. So I think there's probably a deal out there for Trey, be it Golden State for like Brandon Pajemski and in Moses Moody and their first-round draft pick this year. I think there could be a deal out there for Herb Jones as well. I just think this leadership team looks at them and says, if we can sell high on them now, maybe that's the way we go. So I've convinced myself of it, but Joe Dumars, if you look at his history in Detroit, he was a constant tinkerer, and he had 8 coaches in 14 years. He flipped his roster a bunch of times. He is not a patient guy. So I feel like they're going to make moves tonight. I don't know if I think Herb, Trey, DeJounte Murray, and Jordan Poole are all going tonight, but I think they could go tonight and go to other teams in deals that bring back a new-look Pelicans by sometime tomorrow or the end of the week.
I don't get the sense Joe Dumars is super worried about what all the national media people are saying about him, but obviously he took a lot of flack this time last year when he pulled off the first deal that got them Derek Queen, but sacrificed this first-round pick. Do you think that makes him any more or less likely to make a deal this time around, given that there was a lot of national pushback and kind of what are the Pelicans doing the last time they did, or you think Dumars just simply doesn't care about that stuff?
Yeah, I've gotten a chance to know Joe Dumars since he got here. I met him in the past, and he's extremely engaging. And now that I've had a chance to talk to him and get to know him a little bit, I don't think he cares one bit. This is a guy who, he was a great player. He's a Hall of Fame player. He won championships as a player. He was the heart and soul of those Bad Boys Pistons teams. He then goes and becomes an executive, and he wins a championship and plays for another one. I get it. He should be second guessed. Giving an unprotected pick last year was kind of a big gamble. But that's not going to stop him from gambling this year. And look, Gail Benson, the Pelicans owner, who also owns the Saints, Joe Dumars has had a relationship with she and her top lieutenants for a long time. They are still all in on him, so he is not feeling any kind of pressure, concern, or I need to do this because of this. I just think he's going to make moves and be an aggressive guy at all times.
Fletcher Mackel is our guest. We are talking New Orleans Pelicans in the draft here tonight. Fletcher, you got an opinion on who should or will go number one tonight outside of with Peterson, DeBonsa, and that whole conversation?
Yeah, look, I don't, because the one thing about the NBA draft, unlike the NFL draft, and I know a lot of people in our area in South Louisiana speak a language called hut-hut, so we all know football. It's like in our blood. But the NFL is a man's game. Like, guys are – look, Joe Burrow was 24 years old when he got drafted. Jaden Daniels was 24 years old when he got drafted. If you're 24 when you get drafted in the NBA, you are the most outlier of outliers. Basketball is a kid's game, and it's for young players to get drafted, 18, 19, maybe 20, and it's more of a projection of what you could be than what you are. Football is more what you are. Basketball is more what you could be. I certainly like Peterson and DeBonsa. I watched a lot of BYU games just because of him this year, and he's a special talent. I am someone, though, it's hard to look like past actual production. So I am a big Cameron Boozer guy. Like, I think if Memphis gets him at 3, they may get one of the safest, solid players in the draft.
It is a good take, no doubt. All right, you said it. We all talk the language of football. Let's do it then. The Saints have had, obviously, some camp stuff. Nothing major in the first couple weeks of, revamping into the, the ramp-up portion of the season. What's kind of been on your mind as you've gotten a chance to see this team just in bits and pieces and hear a couple of clips?
Yeah, I've been out there for their OTAs and the mini camps and interviewing the players and watching, and I feel like the positivity is palpable and tangible. That a year ago at this time, it was like, boy, Spencer Rattler may have some tools. I was never a big Spencer Rattler guy. I certainly looked at this team and thought they have a massive lack of talent because they hadn't drafted well in recent years. But that kind of changed. I mean, look, last year's draft looks like it's going to yield some really strong players. This year's draft could as well. They hit on free agency last year. It feels like they've hit on free agency this year. So for the first time since probably Sean Payton stepped away, I think with Dennis Allen and Derek Carr, it was, we're saying we're good, but does anybody believe it? And we do. Again, I alluded to it. We have a very well-educated football fan base in our state. I think they knew, is this a championship team? It doesn't look like one, even though the Saints kept saying it, like they're going to speak it into existence. I do feel like now, look, Tyler Shuck has a lot to prove. He hasn't even started half a season, let alone a full season yet. So I certainly look at it and say, hey, he seems like he could be a really good player. And they seem to have insulated him with some really good playmakers. And the offensive line could be formidable. And the defense, Brandon Staley's an excellent coordinator. So I feel like for the first time in years, there's a real confidence and optimism that this team could win this division, not just rhetoric, but reality.
I like that you brought that up, Fletcher, because one thing I've been thinking about when Breeze and Peyton got here, obviously the Saints weren't known as this great passionate fan base, and they created that, and they've been that since then, and even since they've both left, it's been kind of teetering on, and certainly people have grown frustrated with some of the different eras that they've gone through since then. And now I have kind of gotten that feeling that people are actually buying in for the first time in a handful of years. And just like to go into a season, like, look, it doesn't mean they're going to end up being a championship caliber team this year, but it does feel like there's the first time. Now, look, there was a start where they went 2-0 and we started to jump on board with it, but I still think people were hesitant. Just the idea of going into a season with people being excited to talk about the team is probably pretty refreshing.
Yeah, it is. And look, when they started 2-0 and their offense was awesome and it was, Clint Kubiak, look, it's not like they were that far off, I would say. Clint Kubiak is now the head coach of the Raiders. He was just the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks who won the Super Bowl. So, again, it's not like they were a total disaster, but it wasn't like you looked at it and thought, that's the great thing about the NFL. Parity is king, and the difference between good and great and good and below average is a real fine line. But I think that now it feels like, and again, look, they still have to do it. I hope Tyler Shuck doesn't have a sophomore slump. I hope they don't deal with serious injuries. But again, what they've done and how they've done it, it just feels more real. And it's hard. I know, like, people hear that, and I go, as somebody who's been here for 20 plus years, and look, you all cover sports, you go to games, and you kind of go, you know what, this just feels different. Like, there's just something about the tempo of practice, the confidence the guys are playing with, how they operate as a team. It just feels different. Last year it was, boy, Kellen's head is spinning. He's a young head coach. Do they even have a quarterback who can play it all in this league? Are these veterans any good anymore? And there's so many questions, and it just felt like, boy, this is all over the place. Nobody knows what they're doing, how it functions. Now it feels like a functioning, the guys who've been there know how to operate. They know what Kellen wants. He knows what to do, and it just feels different. Again, that's what I keep telling everybody, that being out there at practice, this feels more like, again, comparing it to Breeze and Peyton when they got good, they had 15 years of every year they were a championship contender for all practical purposes. Even if it didn't work out, you knew they were going to be a pretty good team in the NFC and the NFC South. This feels more like, hey, this could be something. And that's just kind of what I keep telling people. When you're around it, you just kind of know. And, last year everybody predicted them to be bad, and everybody was right. That covers this team. And there's been years where we predicted them to be good, and we've missed. But this year, I think penciling them in for 9 or 10 wins is what people should look for.
We'll close it with playing a little devil's advocate then, Fletcher. If there's still maybe an area of this team that you're just not seeing it and you think could be the cause of some real problems if they don't address it, what is that area?
Yeah, cornerback, because
I'm right there with
they
you.
didn't address it. I certainly think they wanted Mansour Delane. Look, the Chiefs didn't jump in front of the Commanders and the Saints because they're stupid. You've got Andy Reid and Brett Veach, their GM, who are two of the best in the league. They traded up to get in front of Washington and New Orleans because I think they knew Mansour Delane's the best cornerback. I think if he'd have been there for the Saints, they would have taken him. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a guy who has a ton of talent, but his first 2 years, he's been kind of pedestrian. They drafted Quincy Riley last year, but they don't have a lot of depth at corner. So to me, that's the one area I would look at and say, there's some real – and look, Kool-Aid may become great, but until he does it, that's the area that you look at and say, boy, that's a lot of question marks there.
I am in full agreement. That's been the same exact response that I have given pretty much every time I've been asked. Fletcher, appreciate the time as always. We'll see what the Pelicans do tonight and tomorrow, and we'll talk again soon, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Fletcher Mackel, WDSU, joining us there, giving us the latest on the Saints and the Pelicans. He has been a good follow. Fletcher's been keeping me up to date for sure on a lot of this Pelicans rumor talk, and he's plugged in over there, so he's got some good sources. He says more likely than not, he thinks, on both Trey and Herb. I am way more okay with trading Herb than I am Trey. We've been kind of over those conversations before. Offensive players, a guy like Trey Murphy, I know that Jamal Mosley's going to try and build this thing from the defensive side of the basketball. And when you do that, I think it just helps when you have a 20-point-per-game scorer just handed to you to start, and that's what Trey Murphy is. He's really more than that. But apparently they might see it differently. We'll see what it all turns into and if that involves a trade tonight. The thing is, if you're giving up Trey, you're probably getting a top half of the first-round pick tonight, I would think. Whereas if it's just a deal that involves Herb, or maybe it is about future assets, I don't know, too. I wonder if the Pelicans really do value any of these first-rounders. Like, do they love Kingston Flemings, or do they love, some of the different guys? I mean, we saw so many of these talented freshmen, right? It was the year of the freshmen. Koa Pete, do they love Koa Pete enough to, make a deal to try and go in and get him? Lindeborg, do they love Lindeborg? Interesting for sure to see if they get into the mix tonight. And you know what else? Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I have a pet peeve. I'll save it till after the break. James will be in on this with me. I got a pet peeve that I don't think has been addressed. I don't think it's been addressed. I don't think it's been fixed, and I might have to deal with it for another year.
I think I know what it is.
I think you do too. We'll talk about it to close the first hour.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh. Live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Regional homes of Opelousas and ESPN 103.7 Lafayette, 104.1 Lake Charles want to help you celebrate America's 250th birthday. It's a big one. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air starting Monday, June 29th. By the way, that is this coming Monday. For the American trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. Tune in next week. It's a special giveaway. Salute, and of course, happy 250th birthday to America.
ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This is your Chiropractic Expert Minute. Brought to you by Dr. Quentin Briscoe, D.C., chiropractic physician.
Injured in a car accident? Confused about what to do next? At Briscoe Chiropractic, we have been treating auto accident injuries for almost 2 decades. We focus on the diagnosing and treatment of injuries related to motor vehicle accidents, providing comprehensive care while documenting your injuries. Even minor accidents can cause injuries that may not show up right away. Ignoring these injuries could lead to chronic pain and long-term issues. At Briscoe Chiropractic, we focus on treating accident-related injuries. Our chiropractic care focuses on realigning your spine and reducing pain and helping your body heal naturally. Don't wait until the pain worsens. Early treatment is key to a full recovery.
To schedule an appointment with Briscoe Chiropractic, visit drqmb.com or call 337-534-0091. That's drqmb.com or 337-534-0091. Briscoe Chiropractic, where recovery is no accident.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number 1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the winner.
Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
MeTV is memorable entertainment television.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest, through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Back to more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
All right, we're back here on the show. I got a pet peeve, as James knows. I'm just hoping I don't see it tonight, but I think it's going to happen. All right, James, you're familiar with the idea that the Pelicans traded away their pick last year, right? They gave up an unprotected first to, Atlanta, right, in the Dairy Queen deal. So the Hawks are going to select 8th tonight. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, that one might be different because it actually took place last year. But regardless, let's say, for example, if the Pelicans trade with anyone, whoever it is.
Well, I was going to say, why don't we just use the example of what happened last night?
Which trade changed hands, right? So Milwaukee now owns the first for Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, perfect example. I don't know who's projected to go 13. Let's use Yaxel Lindeborg just because I like saying his name.
That's about right.
If Yaxel Lindeborg gets selected by the Miami Heat, by the Milwaukee Bucks actually, with the 13th pick and walks on stage with a Miami Heat hat on, I'm going to throw something.
I hope you're ready to throw something.
James, so here's the thing, right? In my lifetime, I have seen different treatments for cancer be tried out. I've seen self-driving taxis. I was in Austin, Texas last year, and I watched a taxi with no one in it pick up a human being and bring it somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
I've seen rockets be launched into space. I've seen a man go to Mars. And yet the National Basketball Association can't figure out how to put the correct hat on a young man who's having his life changed and being picked to play in that organization. We can't, because of what? The trade isn't finalized in the league office. Who cares? Give the guy a Milwaukee Bucks hat. He's never going to play for the Heat. He's never going to fly to Miami. He's never going to show up in South Beach. He's not going to step foot in the American Airlines Arena, whatever they call it. I guess that one's in Dallas. Unless he's on the visiting team or he gets traded there later on in his career. Why do we have to have pictures of these players that live forever. And again, look, your boy, unfortunately, never got drafted into the NBA. Would have been great if I did. I never did. But I would like to think if that's the biggest moment of my life to that point, right? You know, like what didn't happen at my wedding? They didn't like put a Miami Heat hat on. They didn't put a Florida State hat on me on the altar and go, well, you technically went there. No, I was able to wear a suit. I was able to wear a tux because it was my wedding. This is I don't have a good analogy for you here, James. I'm struggling. The point is, like, can we just put the hat on the player of the team he's going to? The NFL fixed this, 25 years ago, and we've never had an issue since then. When the pick gets traded, it's traded. If you got to do some paperwork tomorrow to make it finalized, cool. Do the paperwork later.
They just, for some reason, like, for example, it won't be finalized until July 6th.
Yeah, who cares? You know? Like, put the right hat on the guy. Is the guy wearing the wrong hat, technically, even though it's the right hat, is that going to prevent them from signing a piece of paper in a month that finalizes the trade? This doesn't make any sense to me at all. It is the most no-brainer thing. It confuses the hell out of people. We've got AI videos of people doing stuff they've never done before, and we can't put the right hat on a guy. It is the biggest pet peeve I have. I mean, well, maybe not the biggest one, but it's pretty big. I know you're in agreement with me. The funny thing is again, I can't find anyone who disagrees with me. Is there anyone who's like, yeah, you know what, though? Like, they probably should do what the paperwork says. I mean, they don't want to mess that up, guys. Let's not put the right hat on the guy. Yeah, go ahead, Adam Silver. You know what I wish? I wish a player who knew they were going to get traded, I wish they'd just not wear the hat that they're supposed to. I just wish they'd say, nope, sorry, I'm going to wear the hat of the team that is actually drafting me. I'm going to wear a Bucks hat. Yaxel Lindeborg. I hope Lindeborg goes to Milwaukee tonight, just so that can be further proof of that whole argument there. All right, anyway. Poll question of the day. I'll introduce it here. We're asking you if the SEC is still the king in college athletics. It's kind of maybe not the best timing to ask it because they did win another national championship last night. But hey, they haven't won one in football in a couple of years. So is the SEC still the kings, in your opinion? I think the majority of you have been saying yes. Saw a lot of Facebook comments for that. I would think so. I think the SEC is still the best conference. You know what I do appreciate about the SEC? I'm not, SEC fan guy, but they still have a mostly regional conference that's scheduling somewhat makes sense, although it's too big now, so there's a lot of games that don't happen every year that probably should. But they got that going for them, which the Big Ten does not. Big 12, not really, because they got like BYU in there and stuff. So yeah, I think it's still probably the best, even if they haven't won a title in football in a couple of years. They'll probably win one pretty soon, I would think. All right, we'll take a time out here. We got red card rundown on the other side. Ronaldo's doing some stuff right now. We got some stuff from yesterday as well. We got a great conversation about an important event. A lot left in hour two. Stay with us.
Celebrate America's 250th birthday, powered by Regional Homes of Opelousas and ESPN 1037 and 1041. We're giving you the chance to win a 250th Anniversary of America flag and flagpole kit. Listen on air for the American Trivia question, and you could be one of our lucky winners. We're giving away 5 flag and 5 flagpole kits during the week of July 4th. Thanks to our friends at Regional Homes of Opelousas. Salute, and happy 250th birthday, America.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
When strength matters, go to apfabllp.com. Precision built to last, from heavy-duty aluminum structural welding using TIG, MIG, and stick to custom metal fabrication designed exactly for your project. Need safety inspections, weld analysis, or 24-hour metal repairs? Trust A&P to get the job done. For quality craftsmanship and dependable service, visit apfabllp.com. That's apfabllp.com. A&P Fabrication and Construction. Built strong, built right.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, the NFL has decided not to hold a supplemental draft, meaning former Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby, who admitted to placing thousands of bets on college and pro sports, won't play in the league in 2026. NFL said it felt he'd be a distraction for teams going into training camp in a letter sent to Sorsby. Explains ESPN's Pete Thamel.
It said your petition filed 3 business days before the deadline without any supporting information or documentation, and only after abandoning college sports. Your recent litigation efforts to avoid NCAA sanctions, it does not provide a basis for the league to alter its plans to not hold a supplemental draft.
This isn't over, though, as Sorsby will bring the matter to the NFLPA, according to his attorney. Cristiano Ronaldo became the first person to score in 6 different World Cup tournaments. He scored twice against Uzbekistan in the first half today. Portugal's up 5-0, 93rd minute. The Wizards on the clock with the number 1 overall pick in tonight's NBA draft. 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio, 8 Eastern, ABC and ESPN. AJ DeBonsa, Darren Peterson among the options for that top pick.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Wednesday, we'll react to the first round of the NBA draft and break down how the Giannis trade to Miami impacted the draft. It's on Sportsville, like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Dawson Iserloh prides himself on taking a deep dive to uncover all the relevant data about the sports and sports teams he loves. And now he's sharing all those facts inside his big brain with all of you. Here is the LohDown with D-Loh on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Hour number 2 of 2. ESPN 1037 in Lafayette, 1041 in Lake Charles, anywhere you are with the ESPN Southwest Louisiana mobile app, and of course streaming live on YouTube, the ESPN_SWLA channel. We have got a lot to get to here in the second hour. We've been talking about the Pelicans, the Saints, the NBA draft, a little bit of the College World Series, of course, which has now wrapped up, and college baseball season is officially behind us. We have some Astros stuff to get to. By the way, programming note, the Astros do play at 3:07 p.m. today. Usually that might cut us off for a little bit at the end of our show because of Astro launch, but we're actually going to air the Astros on News Talk, our sister station, today. So you get the LohDown in its entirety here till 3, and then AFR will also air at its normally scheduled time, and I believe we've got Tiger Rag Radio tonight. So all that will stay at its normal time slots, and we'll just slide the Astros over to News Talk, 3 o'clock pregame, 3:07 first pitch. They've got the Blue Jays. They lost last night, did the Stros. Hunter Brown only threw 3 innings. He threw 85 pitches in 3 innings. You want to talk about not being efficient. He only gave up 1 run, but he obviously wasn't sharp. He hit a couple batters, he walked a couple more, and he just couldn't get out of any innings. He gave up 4 hits. So, the Stros ended up losing the game 4-2. The offense wasn't great. Now, they did face Dylan Cease, who's been pretty good this year. And then all the Blue Jays' best bullpen arms were available. So from Fisher, they went to Tyler Rogers and then Louis Varland. Louis Varland's ERA is 0.84. Rogers is 1.72. It was a tough night for the Stros, but I didn't think it was all that concerning. The thing that's just tough about it is that they had to use the whole bullpen because Brown only gave them 3 innings. So we'll see how that turns around and affects them today. The reason today's matchup is interesting is that the Blue Jays are throwing Shane Bieber, and Shane Bieber has not pitched in a big league game since a game that you might have seen. And you're like, I don't watch the Blue Jays that much. When would that have been? How about Game 7 of the World Series? The last time Shane Bieber threw a baseball in a professional baseball game, well, I guess I shouldn't say it like that, in a Major League Baseball game, was Game 7 of the World Series. He had elbow inflammation. So Bieber is back, and he will pitch against Peter Lambert. That is the game that starts at 3:07. I don't know why they're playing at 3:07, because...
I can tell you.
You got me? You got a reason for me?
Yeah, World Cup match.
Beautiful. I was about to check and see if that's what it is. So is it because Canada's playing, or is it because they're just hosting other events?
It's because Panama and Croatia is going to be in Toronto.
Okay.
So they didn't want to have two sporting events going on at the same time in the same city.
I like to see it. There you go. Little common sense being used by our friends up in Canada. That's nice. So the Astros and Blue Jays will play a little earlier than usual today because Panama and Croatia, which, by the way, pretty interesting matchup there. I know Croatia is going to be a favorite in that game, but both teams played to a draw in their first World Cup match. But hey, we'll talk about that in just a little bit when we get to the Red Card Rundown. By the way, still ahead on today's show, Red Card Rundown, we're going to do it in like 5 minutes. It's going to be in this segment, but I'm going to do it at the back end of it. We have a great conversation with our friend Melissa Menard. There's a benefit coming up this weekend. A little girl who's been diagnosed with leukemia and is obviously going through an incredibly tough time. A benefit to support her and her family. So we're going to talk with Melissa about that in the next segment. Then at the bottom of this hour, Ali Cassell joins us. We'll talk NBA draft as a whole. We already did it kind of from the Pels perspective, so we'll get Ollie's thoughts on what the Pels might do, but I also want to just ask him a little bit more in depth on what he likes about the number one pick. Would he go Dabonsa, Peterson, or maybe even Cam Boozer? And who are some of the other names that he just thinks we should be aware of? So we'll do that at the bottom of the hour with Ollie. Before I get to Red Card Rundown, though, the Brendan Sorsby information has once again changed. I have spent more time than I'd even like talking about this because it's changed so often in the last few weeks. If you aren't caught up, which there's a good chance you're not because it just changed again. Brendan Sorsby, right? You know it by now, Texas Tech quarterback, transfer portal guy, was at Cincinnati last year. Before that was at Indiana, was betting on games, 9,000 bets placed, was betting overs on his opponents, a lot of bad stuff. Everybody with, some common sense and some rationality, I think, said, well, he's probably not going to play college football ever again. Shouldn't, at least. And they got this judge in Texas who was like, nah, he's good. He's going to play. And Texas Tech was like, he's going to play. And everybody else was like, you think we're stupid, huh? He's not playing. And Texas Tech was like, no, he's going to play. And the Big 12 was like, all right, we're going to have, how about a lawsuit? You like those? Y'all seem to like him a lot. That's how you got him eligible in the first place. Well, we can do that too. He's not playing. And then Texas Tech put their tail between their legs and said, all right, fine, he's not playing. So Sorsby and his camp go, well, since this isn't going to work out, I'm going to enter the supplemental draft. The supplemental draft is a system in place in the NFL. It's been utilized a number of times over the years. It doesn't happen every year, though. It's not very common. There's been a few situations, some like this, some with other just different things. Maybe it's an eligibility thing with the NCAA, whatever else, where after the NFL draft, a player can enter. They basically have to file and ask the NFL to do this. They put their name in, and every team can select that player if they want. And, they basically give up. They say, hey, I'm willing to give up a third-round pick for him next year. And if they get him, if no one else bids a higher round than that, they would get him, and then they would lose the pick next year. So we all assumed that's how this was going to be. And I listen to a lot of big-time, people who cover, Adam Schefter and all the big guys, right, who have better information than I do, were talking about this as if this was going to happen. They were expecting the supplemental draft to happen and Sorsby be eligible. I saw some thinking, probably second or third round pick would have been used on him, and we'll see what happens after that, right? Today, the NFL did this really fun thing where they said, hey, remember that supplemental draft? Yeah, we're not doing that. They basically called Sorsby out, and they said, you submitted this 3 days before the deadline. You didn't have any documentation in place to back up why you were doing it, all these other things that apparently the NFL needs. Again, I've never applied to be a part of the supplemental draft, so I'm not sure what they asked for. But they said, yeah, no. You can enter the 2027 NFL draft next year, buddy, but we're not jumping through hoops for you. So, as you might ask, you go, well, does this mean he's going to try to go back and play for Texas Tech again? And Texas Tech did go ahead and clarify and say, yeah, he's not going to play for us. So Sorsby now, it appears, is going to have to sit out entirely. I don't know if there's some sort of arena football UFL type deal he could try and go play at, but he's not playing college football, it doesn't appear, unless, and now here's where this could get just so fascinating. What if Sorsby goes to like Texas State and he's like, hey, GJ Kinney, you seem to kind of play it fast and loose. Can I play for you? This judge still told me I'm good to go, remember? He signed on the dotted line. I can play. I don't actually think that's going to happen. If you're rooting for Team Chaos, like Sorsby saying, hey, I'm going to try and play, just not for Texas Tech, that would maybe just bring this story full circle. What I think is now going to happen is Sorsby's going to sit out. I would imagine he's going to go do the stuff he said he needed to do off the field as far as getting help for his addiction and everything else. I think he's going to train, and I think he's going to enter the 2027 NFL draft, which, by the way, is supposed to be pretty good at quarterback. Now, I'm always hesitant because you know what the greatest quarterback class in history of the NFL is? Next year's. That's how it always is. And so everybody projects it that way. We'll see if Arch and Lenore Sellers and Dante Moore and all these guys actually end up being what we think they can be. But anyway, that is now the latest. Sorsby is not going to play college football this year, at least not at Texas Tech. And he's not going to be in the NFL anywhere because of the supplemental draft because the NFL told him no. So we are officially caught up on the Sorsby drama as of June 23rd at 2:10 p.m., but please keep in mind that can change by the minute. All right, with all that being said, another night of soccer watching for your boy. I mean, it's like I'm converting. I think my right foot's getting stronger by the day. I can just feel it. Let's do today's Red Card Rundown.
D-Loh stays locked in on a lot of sports. Soccer just isn't one of them, except when the World Cup comes around. It's time to head to the pitch for today's Red Card Rundown.
So yesterday on the show, we already were able to tell you most about the Messi stuff because Messi broke all those records during the show. Most prolific goal scorer in World Cup history. Most prolific just means the most. I think it just sounds a little better. It's a nice little word I can mix in, so that's why I keep saying prolific. It's one of my favorites, to be honest with you. It'd be a good word for Word of the Day. Remember we used to do Word of the Week for Major League Baseball? That was fun. Messi scores 2 goals. Argentina beats Austria 2-0. They are 2-0. They are moving on to the knockout stages. They've got another game to play, much like the U.S. does. They are the defending champs, and they look to be in defending champ form. France, they played after that against Iraq. Kylian Mbappe is one of the most exciting players in the world to watch. Dembele, another name I'm familiar with, and they made up all 3 goals for the French. They beat Iraq 3-0. Mbappe got 2 of them. Dembele got 1 of them. Mbappe has now scored as many goals as he has played in World Cup matches. He is tied for second in World Cup goals with 16, and he is about 11 years younger than Messi. Keep in mind, these things only come around every 4 years, so it's not all of a sudden like he's just going to catch Messi tomorrow. But I saw when he scored the second goal at the 54th minute, people were like, it looks like he wants to catch Messi tonight. He didn't do it, though, but France also rolls. They'll also be a part of the knockout stages. No surprise. They are now 2-0 as well with 6 full points to their name. Maybe the match of the day, though, was Norway and Senegal. Senegal, one of the best teams in their region. They've got a lot of power. They're expected to move on here. We always talk about the group of death. We've had that in the past. The U.S. has been a part of the group of death in the past, right? Where you just go, hey, that's 3 really good teams. This year, Group I appears to be that group of death because France, who we already told you about, is a legit contender to win the whole thing. Norway and Senegal, also really, really good teams. Iraq, kind of running up the rear on that, but we thought there's 3 really good candidates. This year's World Cup, though, there's a chance all 3 of them do move on, right? In the past, it would have been that we would have been saying goodbye to one of them for sure. Now, if Senegal finishes as one of the top 3rd-place teams, they'll still move on. The reason they're going to try and finish as a top 3rd-place team is because they lost to Norway 3-2 yesterday. Erling Haaland, I know I'm butchering that pronunciation, but he's the guy. He looks like an actual Viking. The Norwegians, they do the row thing to celebrate. It's awesome. Kind of reminds me of the Skol chant that the Minnesota Vikings fans, I think, probably stole from some other culture. Holland scored 2 goals yesterday. So what's been cool about this World Cup so far, it's sometimes, right, when you have this big baseball lead up, right, maybe to the World Series, and it's like, hey, it's Ohtani and Judge. And then sometimes in baseball, like Ohtani and Judge will go 0 for 8 with 3 strikeouts combined. And you're like, wait a minute, this is supposed to be the best players in the world. And you got to explain to people, well, yeah, but like baseball's hard. And so the best players just don't all have good games all the time. Soccer is the same way in a lot of ways, right? And there's been plenty of World Cup instances where maybe Messi's been quiet or Ronaldo hasn't showed up. Haaland scored 2 goals yesterday. Mbappe scored 2 goals yesterday. Messi scored 2 goals yesterday. And then today, what we're about to tell you about Cristiano Ronaldo, the stars are showing up is the point. And so as a peripheral fan of this sport, that's been fun to watch. Senegal was down 3-1 late. They got a goal in the 93rd minute from Sarr, another big talented player for the Senegalese. I think it's the Senegalese. But they could not get an equalizer, so Norway wins that one. Senegal now has lost both matches. They lost 3-1 to France, 3-2 to Norway, and yet they've looked really good and competitive. I think they're probably going to hammer Iraq in their last game and qualify as one of the top 3rd-place teams, but they're up against it despite being a pretty good squad. Then the nightcap was actually pretty good as well. Algeria and Jordan. This was, a couple teams that don't have a ton of appearances in the World Cup. And Algeria ends up scoring 2 goals to come back. They were down 1-0 after the 36th minute. They got goals in the 69th and 82nd minutes. And Algeria now a win and a draw. They are in very good shape potentially, or make that a win and a loss. They have a loss to Argentina, a win over Jordan now. They will face Austria and likely just need a draw to move on, but a win would certainly help them put any doubts in there. Jordan with the loss is officially eliminated from this year's World Cup. And then today, as I said, all the top players continuing to score goals and be superstars. Portugal, that stunning result in the first match for them where they tied Congo DR, and everybody was like, what's wrong? Why are they not passing it to Ronaldo more? They passed it to Ronaldo plenty in this one. He scored in the 6th minute. He scored again in the 39th minute. Portugal put it all over poor Uzbekistan, 5-0. They got goals in the 6th, the 17th, the 39th, the 60th, and the 87th minutes. So they are right back into good position. They will face Colombia in their final group stage match. Now, because they had that draw in the first, they are not through yet, but Portugal does find themselves right now in Group K atop with 4 points. Colombia will play the Congo DR later, and if they end up winning, they would actually knock Portugal down to second place. So Ronaldo and company might still have work to do in their third group stage match, but they're in a much better position than they were when they started the day. And as we know, if you do finish third in your group, goal differential is going to be that big tiebreaker. A 5-0 win today puts you in really good standing if you have to come down to that. So it's safe to assume that Ronaldo and the Portugal team are going to go ahead and move on to the knockout stage, but they will still have to put the finishing touches on it. Later today, right when I go off the air, England will face Ghana. I'm interested in watching England. It was brought up to me, though. This is not an original thought, so I am piggybacking off of others here. I don't have any major problems with England. We kind of settled that like roughly 250 years ago, if you all remember. Pretty historic event in our country's history where we kind of got the better of them. So, it is what it is. I got plenty of British friends, right? But at the same time, symbolically, I don't think I can have the English winning a World Cup on U.S. soil when we're celebrating our 250th anniversary of our independence from them, So as I was going through the teams where I was like, all right, Argentina and France, like all the favorites, we need to go ahead and make sure England doesn't win this thing, right? Is that fair? I don't know if America's going to make some amazing run to the finals and have a shot to win the whole thing. It'd be awesome if they did. But assuming we don't win it, let's go ahead and get those dirty British hands off of the trophy on our home soil. Is that fair enough, James? Like, does that make sense to you?
No, I completely agree. And if anything, I remember seeing that if both the U.S. and and England
and it's funny they go by
enough,
different names in different sports. Still confuses me. I understand there's like different lanes, but anyway, continue. England and soccer they go by.
Yeah, but I believe that if with the group stagings, that if both of them advance far enough, they would play each other in a knockout match on July 4th.
Now, that would just be, listen, I can actually confirm to you because let's assume that England's going to win Group L because they are the favorites to do so. We know that the U.S. is definitely going to win.
Yeah, they've already secured
their group. They've secured that. Mm-hmm. The winner of Group L would play on July 1st. Then they would play. And so that has now been, if they win the group, that would not be possible, James, because their round of 32 match for England would be on July 5th if they do win Group L, and it would not be against the U.S. If they were to get to that point, let's see here. You'd have to go through to match 81 and then match 92 and then match 99. I think they'd meet in the quarterfinals, if I have this right, the U.S. and England, if both do win their groups, if England wins it as we're expecting them to. So that would be a matchup on July the 15th, and that one would be played in, let's see, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. But, of course, it's called Atlanta Stadium, and they don't have any aerial shots because they're not allowed to use it.
Same thing with Seattle Stadium when they beat Australia.
So there you have it. I am rooting against England hard today. Let's see. Hey, maybe Ghana. Maybe our friends from Ghana can help us out. I'm not sure anything about their team, but I do know that they are not the favorites in this match. They are 2.5-goal underdogs. That's a lot. I think that's like a 3-touchdown spread in football. So maybe they'll prove us wrong. Ghana did win their first match of the Cup, by the way. They took out Panama 1-0. So we're rooting for Ghana today. Then it's Panama and Croatia, which Croatia is a legitimate threat in this tournament, and Colombia and Congo DR to close things out. Man, the World Cup's fun. I'm still in it. I have not lost any excitement level. I was actually playing FIFA last night, James. You know what I did? I thought to myself, okay, and it's not called FIFA anymore. It's called FC something because FIFA doesn't get along with a lot of people is what I'm learning. You know, they don't do very well with the whole partnerships. They like to have their own stuff. I made myself, and I put him next to Pulisic on Team USA. So I'm playing through the World Cup on there. Well, you know, they call it the World's Game because, again, they don't have any licensing and stuff. I was like, you know what? If I was a soccer player, I think I'd be a striker. I think I'd have that strong right boot. I know I'm probably not fast enough. Well, not probably. I'm definitely not fast enough to play striker, but maybe in a different life. I would have just focused on cardio my whole childhood. So I got myself playing up alongside Flo Balogun and Christian Pulisic, and we're 1-0. We're on 1-0 in the group stages. So hopefully we can repeat the amount of success that the real American team is having. I did make myself pretty good, right? Wouldn't have been fun to make myself bad. That wouldn't have been as fun. That's kind of the point of video games. Anyway, that is today's Red Card Rundown. I will be having, guess what? Not one, but two guests. We're going to bring back our two original guests, right? We're not going national. We're not grabbing some huge international soccer reporter. No, we're sticking with the guys that got us to the dance, right? Blake Purser will be back on Friday to do Red Card Rundown with me. Johnny Meza will be back tomorrow live from Los Angeles, where he'll be then watching the U.S. play their final group stage match on Thursday night when they play Turkey in what is now, unfortunately, going to be an exhibition because the U.S. was just too darn good in their first two matches for this one to matter at all, and Turkey was too bad. But anyway, all that is still ahead, so this is not slowing down. We are all in on soccer. We love football here on the LohDown. We'll take a timeout, and to be honest with you, a cause that is much more important than all of this. We'll talk about that with our friend Melissa Menard after the break. Stay tuned.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
We've been talking about this a lot. Obviously, make sure you celebrate America's 250th birthday, hopefully free of the threat that the English are going to win the World Cup, with Lafayette Stars and Stripes, held on Saturday, July 4th at Park International in downtown Lafayette. Kids' activities, local pop-up shops, food vendors, musical performances. You've heard the music lineup by now, but we'll tell you again. Sold out. Rusty Matuire and Zydeco Crush and DJ Digital will all be there. Of course, what's a 4th of July celebration without fireworks at the end of the night? This is a free family event. Make sure to mark your calendars. It's Lafayette Stars and Stripes, presented by Lafayette Consolidated Government, LUS, LFT Fiber, Serving Good Vibes, AVA, and Delta Media Corp.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of Four Tire Change Podcast, where Dawson Iserloh talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Mesh. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube.
The best businesses aren't just businesses, they're neighbors. Here's a message from a proud certified South Louisiana business.
Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino. They have the newest games around. Hot seat drawings and monthly specials like no one else. Located on the Bro Bridge Highway and on the banks of the Vermilion River. Come out today and try your luck at the Bro Bridge Truck Stop Casino.
When you support local businesses, you strengthen the communities we call home. Shop local, support local, certified South Louisiana.
Hello, Acadiana. Cajun Carts is your #1 full-service dealer for new, used, and custom golf carts. Perfect for on the job site, the neighborhood, or even out on the green. We are the only authorized dealer of American-made E-Z-GO and Club Car here in Acadiana. For all your service, sales, and mechanical repairs, we got you. So don't wait. Roll on over to CajunCarts.com or stop by our Lafayette location by the Jockey Lot and see why we've been Louisiana's golf cart headquarters since 2003. Cajun Carts. Why walk when you can ride?
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by the LHSAA and the Louisiana High School Athletic Directors Association.
Do yourself a favor and download the free ESPN Southwest Louisiana mobile app, powered by Moss Motors BMW for your Android or Apple devices. Download the app by searching ESPN 1037 Lafayette or ESPN 1041 Lake Charles. It's just that easy to take Southwest Louisiana's sports station with you wherever you go.
We welcome you back into the LohDown. We have a really special event coming up that we want to tell you a little bit more about here on the show today. We have with us Melissa Menard to talk about it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
So I think this is one of those things where the event itself and the cause is probably bigger than everything involved with it. So you could start with just telling us a little bit about the background of what's going on this weekend.
Absolutely. So this weekend we are hosting a benefit for a very dear friend of ours, the Kober family. They found out not too long ago that their 3-year-old daughter was diagnosed with ALM, leukemia, and she's currently in New Orleans getting treatment for that. And so this is our way of being able to support the family through this hard time.
It does. First of all, it's obviously, difficult to hear things like that. And I know a lot of people want to step up and help. When my mom went through cancer treatment, we did a benefit. I remember how special it was, not only for the people that were able to help her, but for her to get to see it. I know maybe a 3-year-old is not going to understand in the moment how cool this is, but I do know that the family probably will. And so first off, this is awesome. So tell us a little bit about the event itself and what's going down.
Right. So this Sunday, June 28th at 10 a.m. at Cowboys. We're thankful for them for allowing us to do it there. Everything kind of gets kicked off around 10 a.m. Now, we do have an Anything with Rice cook-off. So that starts around 7 a.m. People are going to come out and get ready for that, start cooking whatever they've got with rice. We still have some spots available. So if you have a team out there, you want to come cook, we'd be more than happy to have you. And then we've got an awesome kids zone, face painting and arts and crafts, fun jumps, a petting zoo, lots of things for the kids to do. And then an amazing live and silent auction is going to happen throughout the day. And then we've got some really great music that's going to happen as well. The Tailgaters, Stone Cold Cajuns, and Raekwon Green. We're so thankful for all of them. And not just coming out and supporting, but giving of their time and talents. It goes so far beyond that. The family, the friends, the Kober families, employers that have stepped up to help out. Acadiana Packers, we're so thankful for them for stepping up and deciding to throw this benefit, and family and friends have jumped in and decided, hey, let's take it one step further. What can we do? How can we help? And so it's been great to see everyone come together for our Anna Banana. That's what we call her. So this is all for Anna, all for the Kober family. We're just so thankful for everyone. So if you're available this Sunday, 10 until 4 at Cowboys, it's going to be a great day. Lots to do, lots to see. So come on out and join us.
So is it ticketed in the first place, or just once you get there, everything?
Yeah, so it's ticketed. So it's $10 per person. Kids 5 and under are free. Your ticket will give you access to the cook-off. So you'll get to taste a little bit of everyone's cooking. So we're excited about that. We're also going to have the empanada guy out there, and we're going to have just some hamburgers and hot dogs for the kids as well.
It's one of those things too, like I imagine some of the things that are happening, the silent auction, all that is going to be going back and supporting this, but if it's simple as getting in, buying a ticket, it's one of those things where everything helps, I imagine.
Absolutely. I mean, $1 helps, $5 helps. I mean, every little bit helps. You have to imagine gas prices, staying in a hotel, just eating regularly, a snack at the hospital, whatever it might be. A little bit goes a long way. And the family is so appreciative. Friends and family of the Cobra family, we are so thankful for our friends and families that have pitched in to help out. Live auction item, a family friend threw in a week at the beach.
There we go.
So just to tease you there. But we've got some really great things going on. Like I said, it's all for a 3-year-old going through one of the hardest things. But let me tell you, you would never know. She's a fighter. She's got such a great spirit about it. And she's just happy. And, we're here to support her and her family.
No doubt. Is there anywhere, if people want more information, is there somewhere they should go, someone they should call, or just other than showing up at 10 a.m. right on Sunday?
Right. So we do have a website. It's cobrabenefit.org. And you can find our event page on Facebook as well, Cobra Benefit as well. So both of those places give you all the information you need to buy a ticket in advance, and then just all the things that are going on.
Melissa, thank you so much for doing this. It is certainly a great cause, and we appreciate you telling us a little more about it.
Thank you for having us.
We got to take a timeout. We got plenty more coming up. It's the LohDown.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Houston Astros dropped their game last night to the Toronto Blue Jays 4-2 in Canada. The Astros and the Jays were tied 2-2 heading into the 7th when the Blue Jays tacked on back-to-back one-run innings to take the victory. Game 2 of the series will be this afternoon, and it'll be Peter Lambert for Houston versus Shane Bieber on the mound for Toronto. First pitch is at 3:07, and you can listen to it on our sister station, News Talk 98.5 FM and 1520 AM. The Oklahoma Sooners have won the 2026 College Baseball World Series after obliterating North Carolina last night 13-2. It's the first baseball title for the Sooners since 1994 and the third overall for the program. This championship win is also the SEC's 7th straight national championship in baseball. Also for OU, shortstop Jackson Willits took home the tournament's Most Outstanding Player award. He batted .500 in Omaha, going 13 for 26 at the plate with 1 home run, 7 RBI, and 6 runs scored. Today in the World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal will start the day off with Uzbekistan at 12 p.m. Then at 3 p.m., England will face Ghana. After that, Panama will play Croatia at 6 p.m. And rounding out the day, Colombia will play Congo at 9 p.m. tonight. Michigan basketball's Dusty May is reported to have taken the head coaching job with the Dallas Mavericks yesterday. May recently led the Wolverines to a national title in 2026 and will be the first college coach to make the jump to the NBA since former Michigan coach John Beilein took the Cleveland Cavaliers job in 2019. I'm Blake Purser, and you're listening to ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, your home for the LSU Tigers and the Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3-gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler, or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab, or 337-519-3563.
BB's Auto Sales has been serving Acadiana since 1966. Cleanest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. Need financing? No problem. BB's offers easy financing for all credit types, including in-house financing. Plus, they're paying top dollar for your trade. Voted top 3 dealership in Community Choice Awards 2 years in a row. Visit BB's Auto Sales, 2 convenient locations off Johnston Street and in Abbeville. bbsautosales.com. Cleanest cars in Acadiana.
Every weeknight, MeTV has your laugh therapy.
To chase away the blues or the olive drabs.
With 2 hours of MASH at 5.
This guy's ankle has tickled my funny bone.
Followed by the Andy Griffith Show at 7.
Doggone it, Otis. You're supposed to be hugging me when I'm arresting you.
But he likes you, Bart.
Weeknights on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
Back to the sports talk you not only want, but need. This is ESPN, 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
The NBA draft gets rolling tonight, round number 1. It'll be a decision to be made at the top of the board. Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa is who we expect them to choose from, but a whole lot of other storylines. Of course, the NBA is in the peak of its offseason already with Giannis Antetokounmpo getting traded. Our guy, Ali Cassell, is here to break it all down for us. Ali, what's going on, man?
Hey, Dawson. Well, it should be very little, right? Pelicans don't have a first-round pick, but it sure seems like they're trying to get one. So there's going to be maybe some excitement.
Could be. First, man, like the Giannis trade, I mean, it was a pretty poorly kept secret. We knew this was going down. Boston and Miami are the finalists. I thought really that the package that Boston presented to me seemed a little bit more appetizing, but ultimately they go with Miami. What'd you make of the deal that the Bucks and Heat made?
I agree with you, too. I mean, this just shows you that the Bucks, they should have traded Giannis last year, right? I guarantee you the deals would have been much better. And whenever you end up just taking Miami's offer, think about all the teams that have passed on that, like, say, the Portland did with Damian Lillard and such. It's because it's not really, when you look at it, it's not that valuable, right? I mean, Tyler Hero, yes, he was an all-star, but you're going to have to pay him. And really, can he be one of the top 2 players for your team? Kelly Ware, unproven, right? There's some unproven talent that went back that way. And then there's also some first-round picks. But, again, nothing that you would think should be worthy to put a package together for a Giannis, right? Who, when he's healthy, he's still a top 5 player. So I'm 1,000% with you. I would have rather had Jaylen Brown and maybe a pick or whatever else Boston was going to offer amongst young guys / picks. Yes.
We'll see. What this means moving forward for sure. Ali, is there any chance in the world the NBA is going to put the correct hats on the guys when they get drafted tonight if the picks have been traded?
Unfortunately, no, right? The rules haven't been changed yet, right? You've got to wait for trades to be completely formalized, officially announced. Sometimes you've got to wait till July the 6th because that's how things work. That's how the rules are written. So, unfortunately, no.
It is the silliest thing that the league does, given the situation. Anyway, okay, what are the chances the Pelicans make a pick tonight, right? I mean, they could obviously move Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, both, DeJounte. I mean, there's a whole different bunch of scenarios here. What do you think's the most likely to happen for the Pels tonight?
Yeah, I think that because their best asset by far and away is Trey Murphy, something we've been talking about now for weeks, maybe stretching months, as I think he gets dealt, because they do have their eye on several guys. And Trey Murphy represents their best avenue to them, as well as maybe shoring up other weaknesses on your roster, which they clearly have, like at the center position. So, I've heard that Trey Murphy, we've heard some of the rumors, Detroit being interested, Golden State Warriors, even Trey Murphy maybe for Jaylen Brown, because supposedly I'm hearing that maybe Trey Murphy might be kind of plan B for them since they struck out on Giannis. But I'm also now hearing that the Clippers are interested in Trey Murphy. Brooklyn Nets have an interest in him, right? Even the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, there's a slew of teams. So I think there's a lot of avenues for the Pelicans to get excited about if, like I said, you want to get in this first round draft, and it sounds like they really do.
Let's go big picture with this draft class, Ollie. I've been fascinated by the conversation about Peterson versus DeBonsa from the beginning. For me, I really do value the whole player availability thing. I think maybe it's just being a Pelicans fan and watching Anthony Davis and Zion Williamson be unavailable so often. But Peterson brings those questions to the table. He's got kind of the, hey, how bad does he really want this types of things? But it also seems like he's maybe the more talented player overall. Who would you take if you had the number one pick? And then who do you think will be taken with that pick?
I would honestly be deciding between DeBonsa and Boozer. Peterson would not be one of my two choices. DeBonsa clearly probably the best scorer, right? When you look at his length, his ability to get the free throw line, shooting, you name it, 3-level score at that height and length, it's outstanding. That's prototypical. Peterson, he's not the same guy. And furthermore, not only the concerns you raised, right, about what happened at Kansas, his availability, he also didn't look like the same player, right? His ability, his athletic movements for Kansas as he did in high school. That, to me, probably raises even more questions. That's why I probably feel more comfortable going with Boozer, who you feel like is going to at least potentially be a good number two on a championship type of team, right? He does all the dirty work. He can get you rebounds. He can shoot the three, makes passes, right? He's exactly what today's NBA is about for a big man. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Peterson wouldn't be in my top two choices. I'm curious to see what Utah does. I know everybody's saying they'll take Peterson if DeBonsa goes one, but I've got an inkling maybe they take Boozer, right? For instance, his dad played for Utah, and he works for them now. So I think there's a lot of ways why Peterson might slip out of top two.
If the Pelicans were to make a deal, Ollie, let's say to get back into this first round, somewhere between the 5th and 10th picks, somewhere in the lottery, but not with one of the blue chip prospects, is there a name you really like? Are you a Kingston Flemings guy? Are you a fan of maybe Darius Acuff? Is there a name that you would be excited if the Pelicans somehow walked away from with tonight?
I am fans of both of those players, actually. But here's the problem. They've got Jeremiah Fears, so I'm also a fan of. And since you ended up with Fears, like had they ended up with Ace Bailey, think about that last year, and say Utah took Jeremiah Fears, then I think this would be an outstanding conversation. But since you've got Fears, and like I said, I think they're all in on him from what I've heard, it can't be one of those two. You can't play both of them together, right? So you've got to look at bigger guards at that point, like Burries especially. But again, from what I've been hearing, what the names that the Pelicans have been linked to, say in this first round, it'd be more towards the end of the lottery, and it's wings, right? Nate Ament and Cameron Carr. And Cameron Carr is the one I've got circled. If you're moving off of Trey Murphy, you want a guy who's a knockdown three-point shooter. But with Cameron, while he's not as tall, definitely not as stout, right? I think he weighs about 190 pounds. He's much more athletic. He makes better use of his athleticism, right? He's one of the best shot blockers, especially at his height coming out of college. He really checks all those type of boxes if you want a guy playing off the ball next to Fears, Zion, and Queen.
This is an interesting class, Ollie, and maybe it's just because I watched more college basketball than usual down the stretch, but I'm familiar. I watched Michigan play all the way through the national championship, so I've seen Lindeborg, and I've seen Burries at Arizona and Mara at Michigan as well. I don't know. It's maybe too like we're getting kind of the after effects of the COVID stuff that pushed some of the older players back a little bit. Just what do you make of the class as a whole being what feels like you still have a lot of the freshmen in there, but it also feels like you got a mixture of some of these guys who are 22, 23 years old that NBA teams typically don't love putting big investments in the first round, you know?
Yeah, it is strange, right? I mean, I think the top 8 or 9 still people projecting go tonight are freshmen. But, yeah, after that, you've got a total mismatch of players. And I don't think anything's stands out more than, say, Lindenberg, like you mentioned. I mean, he's going to be 24 by the time the next NBA season begins, I think. So, yeah, I'm with you. And one guy you didn't mention, right? You mentioned Marlon Lindenberg, but the other Michigan guy, that's another interesting guy, Morez Johnson. Everybody keeps saying that Troy Weaver would love to get Isaiah Stewart back here, somebody that can be that physical presence on the inside. And there's not a better comparison I've heard from Isaiah Stewart than Morez Johnson. So that's another name that we should really mention.
Is there, too, I mean, the Pelicans do own a pick in this draft, Ollie. It's not until tomorrow. It's not near the very end. How surprised would you be if that's the only selection they make?
Completely. Because it sounds like, and it's been growing, this noise has been growing since the season ended. That's why I've been talking about, Trey Murphy. Let's discuss some potential trade scenarios, even with Herb Jones, because they did seem likely, especially when you said, and I'm referring to Joe Dumars, he seems like he wants Zion Williamson to still be here, see if Jamal Mosley can squeeze anything out of him. But that leaves them, like I said, Murphy and such, whoever's left behind. And that's why I feel like this roster is incomplete. They haven't proven to be winners. Kind of the style of players that both Weaver and Dumars like, considering their previous experiences at general manager, right, as the head decision makers in front offices. And this isn't a roster that reflects that. So that's why I've said all along, we're going to see some changes. So in addition to maybe Herb and Trey, I mean, I'm fully expecting for Jordan Poole to be moved, right? He's just simply not going to work. They tried last year. That clearly failed. Then there's DeJounte Murray. I like him. I really like how he seems to be that leader for this team. But again, you've got Jeremiah Fears. DeJounte wants to be the starting point guard. I don't think you're going to put either one of them on the bench. So he's got to find a new home. So there's going to be a lot of movement. So undoubtedly the Pelicans are going to end up, I think, with at least one more draft pick in this year's draft.
That's the question I want to ask as we're talking with Ollie Cassell with the NBA draft beginning tonight. Because it felt like we kind of understood the list of untouchables, right, and what they were on this roster. That's clearly changed, and Dumars taking over has been a part of that. And obviously there's a lot of new people in the building and now a new coach as well. Is that list, is it Zion, Queen, and Fears? I mean, who else is on the untouchable list on this team, in your opinion, right now?
Yeah, I mean, I love that. Nobody lost their job when Joe Dumars came aboard last summer, right? Both, you look at the roster, it was a carryover. Same thing with the staff. We just saw about 40 different people let go in the staff. So like I said, I'm expecting that kind of wholesale changes to the roster. So that list is going to be small that you're talking about. I would include those three. And unless they get blown away, say, for a Sadiq Bey, I expect them to actually give him an extension. I'm expecting for him to be one of these guys that's considered part of the core. The ones you kind of are curious about is Yves Missy, right? His name was bandied about last trade deadline, but he improved a lot. And your center position is weak. No doubt you're going to add somebody, but you still need a certifiable another center or two on this roster. It's not going to be Kevon Looney. No way do we see him or the team picking up his team option. I think DeAndre Jordan will be signed again simply because what he's able to do, the connections he's made, how players listen to coaches. He's invaluable in that respect. Matkovic, I could see them picking up his option. But again, you're still missing another center. And I'm not going to include Derek Queen until he proves he can take that pounding, right? You still need a big body of some kind. So, yeah, that leads you to believe that maybe Missy might be safe. But otherwise, I don't know who else you could say. Bryce McGowan's, but teams aren't calling for him, right? That's your role player. That's it, yeah. It's a very small list, Dawson.
Interesting to say the least. We will see if the Pelicans have any new players come this time tomorrow and what hats they're wearing when they are misrepresented by the NBA at the draft tonight. Ollie, appreciate your time as always. Enjoy the draft.
Yeah, thanks, Dawson. You do the same.
There's Ollie Cassell. He confirmed it for us. No rule change. We're still going to have incorrect hats being worn in the year 2026. We've made a lot of technological advancements in the world. Not going to be able to do it with these hats. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll wrap up the show on the other side. We'll get you set up for AFR. We'll give you a final look, by the way, at what's happening in the world of the World Cup and elsewhere. After this, stay tuned.
This is the LohDown with D-Loh, live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Bluebell Ice Cream has been making the best ice cream in the country for more than 100 years, and they now have a new flavor just in time to celebrate the 4th of July. Red, White, and Bluebell has strawberry ice cream, homemade vanilla, and blueberry ice cream all in one container. Real strawberries and real blueberries in there as well. Let's celebrate Red, White, and Blue with Red, White, and Bluebell. Available in half-gallon and pint sizes at most retailers. Pick some up today.
ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill, and the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSP filing number LA2519079.
Lafayette Stars and Stripes is back and bigger than ever as America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Join us Saturday, July 4th at Park International in downtown Lafayette for a night of patriotic fun. Gates open at 5 p.m. with live music by Sold Out and Rusty Matwire and the Zydeco Crush, along with delicious food trucks, family activities, local vendors, and plenty of surprises. Then look to the sky for a spectacular fireworks finale at 9:30 p.m. Free admission presented by Lafayette Utility System, LFT Fiber, and Delta Media.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices. To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's Office.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perished in the line of duty, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on United States Deputy Sheriff's Association, please visit usdeputy.org.
Helping you get through your workday. This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
All righty, we are wrapping up the show here on the LohDown, ESPN Southwest Louisiana. So we got the NBA draft tonight. First round will be going down. We'll see if the Pels do anything. Sounds like they probably will. We got Astros and Blue Jays getting going at 3:07. Remember, that game is going to be on News Talk 98.5 today, our sister station. We're going to go ahead and give you AFR in its entirety on this station. The thing that we didn't get to a ton yet today is the PGA Tour. The PGA Tour has announced their new system. They are going to be dipping their toes into the waters of promotion and relegation. I like this idea. I like it a lot. They're basically going to have the Championship Series and the Challenger Series. So essentially what it kind of sounds like is the Corn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour, and they're kind of merging it into one bigger sanctioning body, and they're going to have some ways for you to get from one to another. They're going to basically promote the top players and relegate the bottom players at the end of each year, which is already kind of what they do. I just think it's a different way of going about it, a little more clear-cut, a little bit more easy for the fans to understand. And we've seen a lot of sports leagues be moving that direction. I mean, I just watched NASCAR redo a playoff format because they were trying to make it a little bit more, understandable, and they also wanted to make it more competitive, and they wanted fans to understand how it works. It seems like this is a page out of that book. So now the thing that's really interesting, and I was going to actually ask Fletcher about this, but we ran out of time. The Zurich Classic is going to be impacted by this. I can't imagine, based on what's been described to us about this new format, that the Zurich is going to be a championship series event, which is going to be like the top players. I would think it maybe fits in as a challenger series event, but also, where does that leave the future of the Zurich Classic? I don't know the answer to that, and that's going to be very interesting because that's a tournament that I care about, and certainly people around here locally probably care about. But nationally on the tour, I don't know if it has as much relevance as plenty of the other stops they make. Worth noting, none of these changes go into effect until 2028. So next year, obviously we're going down the back stretch of the PGA Tour schedule this season. Next year, it will remain as it is, and then 2028 will be the beginning of all these new changes. So interesting, for sure. We are going to talk with our friend Ralph tomorrow about these changes, so he will be joining the show. We'll have Johnny Meza to talk World Cup, Red Card Rundown tomorrow, and Zach Nagy will return after a one-week hiatus from the show. We've got some LSU recruiting stuff to go over and things of that nature as well. So a lot of stuff to get to. Wednesday's version of this show will be packed, as always. Appreciate you for joining us here this afternoon. Want to thank our guests. We started it off strong with Fletcher Mackel, WDSU, talking Pels and a little Saints with us. Thank you to Melissa Menard. If you are interested in learning more about that benefit, she gave you the places to go and the people to talk to. Cowboys this Sunday, 10 a.m. start time for all that good stuff. It's a really, really great cause to help a child who's going through something that children should never have to go to. Be quite honest. Really, no one should, but certainly not someone that's 3 years old. And then rounding things out with our friend Ali Cassell talking NBA as a whole, the draft tonight, getting his thoughts on the number one pick. He would take A.J. Debonsa. We will see if that's who goes number one or not. Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer also in the conversation. And Caleb Wilson's the other player that it feels like he's the polarizing player of the night, although Peterson has some elements of that as well. But some think his ceiling is the highest of anybody in the draft, yet his floor might be pretty low as well. What do you do with a 6'10 player who can kind of do it all, but maybe isn't refined in all these things? And whoever ends up with him, that's going to be an interesting thing to follow as well. I hope Trey Murphy's still a Pelican when we come in tomorrow, but I'm not 100% convinced he will be, especially after the conversations we had here on the airwaves today. So, I'd love to keep Herb as well, but I kind of understand that one more if they want to make a move there. Maybe they'll value Herb more since Jamal Mosley's such a defensive-minded guy. I'm not sure. But either way, be interesting to see. Also, Ghana and England getting going. We don't want England winning the World Cup. Not on our home soil. Can't have it. We'll see if Ghana can beat them today. That'll do it for us. Thanks to James. Thanks to everybody else. We'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same places, 1 to 3 p.m. ESPN Southwest Louisiana. AFR is next.
Stop smoking with Alex Goen, patented hypnosis.